And hello, everybody. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the Maluma donkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of mankind for their own selfish reasons. So, how are things going with you, Tank, today?
Well, I've been working very diligently trying to help the mother of the little boy who he got taken from her, and we were able to. She got a court order to get the coroner to hold the body and get an independent autopsy, and she had a GoFundMe where she raised about $4,000 to $5,000 from that range to actually pay that physician. And then she had a hard time getting a physician who would actually do it. And then GoFundMe cut her off, unfortunately. So,
GoFundMe is definitely connected to the CIA. So that would be one of the ones not to use. There are many others. I know it's very popular because everyone knows that name. But it's if you think about this, every time you have one of these people in the government that comes up for scrutiny, they go and make a GoFundMe page, and suddenly they have a lot of money. Right?
Well, here's a fun fact. Did you know that in Illinois, you don't actually need to be a doctor to do an autopsy?
That's a fun fact. So when are you starting the autopsy?
Well, it's not quite. I don't think it's quite that liberal.
Oh, okay.
Now, you do have to be a coroner, and there is coroners there. But to me, the fix is in. I see exactly how it works up there, right? You can just have anybody come in and say they're a corner or give them a license and basically sign off, for plausible deniability, right? And but I did speak to the coroner directly, who is in the neighboring county, to see if we could get him to go over and take the body and do an examination himself. And but he couldn't. But he did make the effort. He's calling to get them to hold the body until we get an independent, physician to go and do it. But as of now, all the physicians have said it's too hot. It's too high profile. And I'm like, it's really not that high profile, to be quite honest. But what's happening is that they realize, like, yeah, we don't examine kids because we know better, right? Because if you examine kids down there, you probably get killed, right? So, down there in Chicago, I guess it's not down, but regardless, we made some progress there. We made some good connections with the congressional representative there in his office, and we spoke to them today. And so we're working it. We're working the angles, doing our best to, get somebody to intervene. And I wrote a very formal letter to the congressman today to basically ask him to step in and actually identify the issue here. And I'm not sure if that's going to work, so I have other avenues in Chicago, actually, that with some common law people who've actually been arrested for doing this, but it's not illegal, that they've actually put liens on the judges who have made bad judgments, because in reality, we are free, right? We are free. This is our land, and they work for us. So, when you make a judgment which is clearly in violation of your constitutional, of your oath of office and the Constitution itself, we actually do have the right to put a lien on the judge's property and actually all their possessions. So I'm looking into that as well, and I'm very willing to do that. And so there's.
So can you do a repo?
I don't know. But I would love to have a lien on that judge's property, and stop him from doing this anymore, because this is obviously a syndicate, that is operating, above the law, right? They're actually using the law as a weapon, which would be the reason why when you talk to most people and you say, there's, almost 1 million kids that go missing every single year in the United States, and they're like, but I never see that. But when we were kids, right, you'd be like on milk cartons and stuff, right?
Right.
But you never see it anymore. No one ever talks about it.
Right.
Well, the reason why is because they're using a legal, technically a legal entity and Child Protective Services to take children, right? Along with DHS. So that's a tragedy all the way around. But we're working it, and but I do have good news. The little girl is accounted for, Sasha, and she is actually in the custody of the grandmother, not Kara's mother, but the husband's mother. But I guess she's not abusing her, so that's good news. At least that feels better, and there's hope there, and I'm very encouraged by that.
That's good news. That's very, very good news. Oh, actually, a sigh of relief. It's amazing how these emotions, are so it's so natural. I mean,
I know.
It just happens. Yeah. So this is from, this aspect of humanity that they want to stamp out, right?
Yep. They do. It's amazing. I thought about it all day, actually. There's all these incredible, beautiful qualities of being human, and they all kind of come back to our connection with the intangible attributes of source, of God, of the universe, right? The love and beauty, not just physical beauty, but true beauty. When you see someone and talk to someone, that you're just like, what a beautiful person, right?
Right.
Intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, justice. These are all qualities that exist in the kind of spiritual essence of humanity, and they're the most redeemable qualities about us. And it's unfortunate that we've been drugged and poisoned and malnourished and lied to and programmed and reprogrammed and reprogrammed until you have this version of humanity, which I mean, actually, I shouldn't say it. Humanity as a whole, I think, is fine, but you have this public perception that most of humanity is, like Antifa, right? So you have this group of Antifa kids, right, rocking skull masks and head covers and stuff, right? And they're out in the street and they started some chant. And they said, "I blanked God, and now he's gay." And they were chanting it in the streets. Proud of what they're saying too. Clever thing they came up with. And I just thought, wow.
I think it sounds pretty moronic.
Yeah. There's actually a scripture in the Bible that talks about this. How there was a judge that feared neither man nor God, and because of that, his judgment was strictly based on personal gain. I just feel like that's kind of where we're at. That's what all these judges are. They fear neither man nor God. They think they'll get away with this forever, and the only way to stop it is when someone actually holds them accountable.
Well, people really don't realize that these judges, they get a cut from everything that they're doing, right?
Right. Everybody's in on the take. Everybody gets something, right?
Yeah. So nobody realizes this. They think they have a salary from the government and that's it. No. And so it benefits them, to do this. Now, obviously, it's one of their main rules is you don't do things to cause the population to rise up against you. That's like their number one rule. You can make it as bad as you want, right? But make bad rulings, doesn't matter. But if it causes people to rise up, then you've broken their rules.
Right. And I'll tell you, the reason why they're so arrogant and so cocky, I am 1,000% sure of this now. It is that they have taken the vaccines. They recognize that they can, open the blood-brain barrier and put mega doses of aluminum, and you can make this very dim group of people that have now implants of, metal implants in their brain that will respond to the frequencies you put out. And they realize that for the most part, people are not going to resist, right? Because resistance takes passionate feeling on some level, right?
Right.
You have to feel a certain way. Now, that's one thing. But then the next thing is if you believe my theory is possible, that the VMAT2 fun vac, right, has been actually administered in some way. And I suspect of being administered in the flu vaccines, right?
Yeah.
And that actually transmutes, the behavior, will, and desire of someone who's driven and inspirational and all types of things, right, to being someone who's actually disgusted by things that they once felt passionately about. Now, they try to limit it to just religious things, right? But it's really not. If you look at, I say this all the time, that, it doesn't matter if your religion is CrossFit. Whatever it is that inspires you in that way is also what motivates you to act the way you do, right? And if you look at most people that are devoutly religious, they're very kind, right? They're very willing to help. They have very high morality and ethics, right?
Yeah.
Because they, for the most part, a majority of people, and I'm not trying to, I know that we have evil priests and, cults and all types of crazy stuff, right?
Sure.
But for the most part, the people that are just naturally, devout and are looking for a connection with God, and even though they might be suffering from some kind of savior syndrome, they just want to do right by God. The reality, right?
Right.
And they were trained. So if you took that energy and then you flipped it so the same practice disgusted them, what would you get? Well, you get California, right? You get Antifa. You get Alexandria Cortez in New York City, like an insane lunatic. I don't know what she is thinking. And she's endorsing this group that claims that the NYPD is racist and bigoted, so they have a whole punch a cop campaign, right? To punch the police officers in the face.
Right. They're trying to create a situation where the cops want to fight the population. Right. Because they're the ones with the guns, right? And then they'll be going on along with the cabal's, ideas. You say, yeah, we got to put down these people, and they're already mad because they've been treated so poorly. And who's protecting them is these politicians are allowing the police to be abused. I mean, it's so obvious that this is what their tactic is. But what do you do to stop it? Is stop the abusers. I mean, can't the regular people make citizens arrest of these people that are abusing the cops? I mean, you want to make these people are going to be like lemmings and just follow along and do the bad things against the cops. No, you got to stand up for the cops.
Well, and herein lies the problem, right? People that are thinking intelligently, they're usually individuals, right?
Yeah.
So when you have an individual thinking intelligently, they're usually watching people acting like idiots that are pack-minded, right? So they can't do anything without the approval of the group
pack
of idiots they're with. So they're all wearing their "I'm with stupid" shirt, right? And they're standing around like figuring out what dumb thing they're going to do. And then you have mob mentality that develops, right? So now you're cheering on as your dumb friend does something that could get him in trouble or kill even, right?
Right.
And and I was watching it happen over the summer. They're launching water balloons at cops and stuff like that. I'm like, man, you guys are playing with fire. And to their credit, the cops handled it very well. And to the discredit of DeBozo, he was telling the cops not to do anything.
Right.
He's like, what? Arrest them. Arrest them. It's assault. I don't care what you hit a cop with. It's assault. Now, I have spent the night in jail, in Queens County Jail, because I didn't pay an inspection sticker and I got my license suspended when I first moved here. That was the worst. That was terrible. There was like 60 people in a jail cell. And I'm not kidding. It was like a large holding cell. Like 60 people. I mean, it was the most disgusting environment I've ever been in my life. It was terrible. It was, and I didn't pay an inspection sticker. I'm in there with people that are in there for assault, rape. I'm like, how is this possible?
Right.
It's like, but they made sure to take me away, right? Thank God they got me off the street. But you got a bunch of idiot, 20-somethings hanging out in the city with super soakers and water balloons, and they're chucking them at cops. I mean, are you crazy? How is that possible?
Yeah, exactly. How is it possible? Because they've let the system collapse to such a point that people, they're continuing to egg them on, and get people to rise up against the cops, right? So that the cops can be used as a weapon against them. This is the classification of useful idiot that the leftists have always used, right? You get the people to do things that are going to end up being against them, but they don't know it.
It's all provoked, I mean, Prince talked about this before he died, right? He was on some late night show, and he was talking about how like you see a plane go over Harlem, right? And then all of a sudden there's a heavy trail of chemtrail that goes over top of them. Now everybody in Harlem's fighting each other. Everybody's mad and irritated.
Right.
And they don't know what they don't even associate it, right?
Right.
And I've watched it happen in my own life. Like I know when I'm going to get in a fight with people, right? And I also do believe that you can transmute that energy and you can filter it out with nothing, just other than just you. I mean, that's possible. But I've watched it happen. I've watched people that are just sensitive to it, and they, whatever happens, whatever's in that, right? It's behavior modification.
Right.
So I mean, they're pulling out all the stops. They're doing everything they can. I look at what happened, with this whole group down, that's really an extension of us, right? And I don't want to say the name, but where they are, and these families. I mean, this is our family. These people, I mean, we were live when we were dealing with it happening, and trying to, talking to judges talking to the military and trying to get helicopters down there,
Right.
trying to help these people. And when you look at it, I was actually looking at some of the footage today, and I was like, well, how did this happen? Because you have the first vehicle goes down, it gets a flat tire, right? So the other cars leave. By the time they come back, the car shot up and burned. The second vehicle, right? Now think about this. There's a woman driving the car. They already shot up a car full of women, or a car full of children, and one woman driving. You've got another car, and you can see very clearly, like this is another car. There's one woman driver. I think there's like 6 or 7 kids in the car, right? And you can see there's like 9 shots on shotgun in the car, right? So you got to think there was a kid sitting there, right? And the driver and the shooter was coming directly at them, right? And so looking through the window, knowing that this is a woman and children. There was even a gunshot, right? Because you got to think the baby was like 9 months old. So like in the car seat, they kind of lay down on those, right?
Right.
And the shooter got up on top of the car, fired from the top down, right? Because if you were shooting from the side, you might have missed it, maybe. So he got up on the top of the car and shot down to make sure he killed the baby. Now I thought, that is super aggressive. That is like, you're going out of your way to make sure you kill this woman and children.
I want to add that I don't know, but I did hear someone else talking about this on one of the videos that was playing in the background while I'm working, right? And it was literally, they were associating Nancy Pelosi's trip to talk with this warlord, this Mexican warlord. I don't know if it was like El Chapo or whatever, but they were trying to relate it to this particular event. No, I don't know anything other than that reference, right? But as I was looking for some other things to come up, to see if there's any other associations made. But if she wants to create some problems on the border, they'd want it to be horrific, right? To basically say, hey, look, the wall's not working, Americans are getting killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just an idea, but I don't know if that's exactly the thing that happened. But could it be that there was some other play that's going on here? That's not just about a random shooting because two competing cartels from different areas wanted to make a statement, right? And they decided they're going to just kill everyone in these cars, not knowing anything about them.
No, I mean, it was a statement, potentially a warrant.
To who and from? About what's the statement? So between the cartels, or is it more on a government level? I mean, Trump immediately jumps in and he's saying, well, we can go in and help Mexico rout them out. And then we had one of the congressmen or senators, I don't know which one, but said, if Mexico can't handle it, we'll have to take measures. So he's talking about invading Mexico with military.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pieces I can't discuss, but what I would say, that I can't, just my theories that I'm willing to share. This particular, this group, the Chihuahua group. I take note of little things. Like 14 people got killed, and it made me wonder. I wonder if they really meant to kill 13. Because it was so brutal, right? It reminded me of an MS-13 type of killing. So I can't. And the MS is like Mara, Savruche or something like that. Something to that effect, right? But the Savruche, whatever the word is, I'm not saying it right, but something to that effect. It basically means an El Salvadorian army ant, right? And they've tried to mislead people and say 13 is for the letter M, but it's not, right? It's not gang, Army Ant Gang, right? That's not the name of the MS-13. But what it could be, in my insane conspiracy theories, which this is definitely that, because I thought, well, if you're talking about an army ant, and you consider that you have these two races of galactics, the mantis, which Kim has described as looking like big ants, right? And you have the 13 dragon families, right? It wouldn't surprise me, being what I know about MS-13, that MS-13 is actually, they've seen something, and that's what started the whole process, right? And they as a combination of these two forces of these mantis and draconians, and thus they produce this group. Now that is true, even if that's not what it means, because we know that Eric Prince in Blackwater, who controls the largest private military in the world, is the one who has trained MS-13, right, to be so ruthless and killers, and employed them, and actually has them implanted in the banks. So that theory is crazy. I know that. I'm just but I've learned that a lot of times the craziest theories we have are actually based in fact. Now, in this case, the things that I've seen from this, I would say it feels like a warning, trying to scare people. Potentially.
Yeah.
Our people.
Yeah.
So. I would have to say that I don't like to make more or less of what we're doing, but in the world of the internet, I know that the Speak Project and Thomas Williams, I guess even Thomas is a little bit different, but with us, it's like we've made it a point that Speak Project not to accept donations or advertise or
right.
Sell products intentionally so that we can do our best to get the truth out there, right? And I still have lots of sources to give me information that I have to always filter through the only source I really trust, which is, at the end of the day, is Kim. So there's what I can see with my eyes, is what I can witness to from various sources, which are almost always compromised somewhere in their downline. And then the only source I know who's not compromised, and will tell me the truth, but she doesn't always give me the information until after the fact. It's Kim, but it's like we do our best to get the truth out there, right?
Right.
But in this case, this is it's close to home, and we're trying our best to get one of the family members, in addition to the people that are actually in our organization, who weren't there directly, but it was their family. But we're trying to get one of them to give an account, because they're describing them like they're part of this Nexium cult, and they're
right.
attacking Mormons and everything else, right?
Right.
Which I'm not saying that there isn't a whole sect of Mormonism that is jacked up and pedophiles or whatever. I'm not saying that. There's also a group of Christians like that, and a group of Catholics like that, and a group of Jews like that. Like that's in every single religion, but a majority of those people are not that. Right? They're just
right.
good people,
right?
Who want to have a connection to God, and this is what they were raised on, so they believe it. So, but I'll say this: that's secondary as far as I'm concerned, because what I know of these people personally and firsthand, they are salt of the earth, kind, generous, giving.
Right.
They're people you want in your corner. So,
I mean, I've talked about moving back to the U.S. I said, what state would I go to? I said, I go to Utah. Because, it's just the only one where I said that there's been enough family values maintained, throughout the society. I'm not saying that the effects aren't there for everyone, but it's at least there is because their religion was so strong, they were able to withstand a lot of the stuff. But again, it's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, look, all religions are, perverted historical rituals created from, some events that happened and then were, completely taken out of context, misapplied, and turned into, this version of God that requires you to bow down and worship Him, which is, is always some, you know, deity that was not the actual one who did the deed, right? They went in and took credit for everything. They whitewashed Egypt, right? They made everything something different than what it really is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why I've avoided religion in general. Since I left the Catholic Church at age 13, it doesn't make any sense. So I kind of figured at that point, religion itself is a problem, and it's always because it's made by man. It's not made by God.
Right. The Bible says you can't serve God and serve mammon. Right. Mammon is just code for money.
Right. Right.
So it's so all these churches that have a paid ministry, it's well, you made a career out of something that wasn't supposed to be a career, right? It's supposed to be a vocation. It's something that just is natural to who you are. It says, the Apostle Paul says, Timothy says, be instant, in season and out of season. Preach the word, right? Or preach the word, be instant, in season, out. And the point is that when you just know things innately because it's who you are, no one has to tell you to talk about those things. You just naturally do, or your actions are your testimony. The way you conduct yourself, the way you behave,
right.
your living testimony. You don't have to have a sermon and get up in front of a pulpit, right, to pull people into the pit with you, and then give you donations so you can get a new steeple on your church. Things like that.
Yeah.
That's a real thing, by the way. I think that's like a personal testament when I was a kid.
Yeah, I sounded personal. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's like a steeple. Really? We're donating for that?
We need a new steeple. That's it. You have to have the best steeple. Otherwise God can't hear you. It's like the antenna to God. I can make up some stuff to make it work.
Yeah, they used to have all the cemeteries at the churches, right? So the church itself was just a big tombstone. It's like big cross on the top, and
right,
filled with dead men's bones. That's
dead men tell no tales, I hear.
Yeah. Anyways,
so well, let's see if there's anything else we should kind of cover. I mean, on the news fronts, it seems to be more about the same stuff, except that it's just more detail coming out about what's like the whistleblower, and how much of a setup this whole thing was. Right, that's what's really coming about right now, and
yeah,
that's
that's like a slow motion plane crash right now. I mean,
that's a good way of describing it. Exactly, slow motion plane crash.
Have you ever seen anything like this? It's like their smoking gun was this testimony. I can't remember the guy's name.
Eric Chiramilla.
No. The guy they had in the actual the secret hearings. That's not that guy. He's another guy who was talking about he actually is like an ambassador maybe for Ukraine, and they brought him into the secret meetings, and they finally released the transcript. And in the transcript, he says, he originally was talking about that he thought President Trump was doing quid pro quo. But what makes it airtight that there's absolutely no way to prove otherwise? Ukraine didn't even know they were getting aid. They didn't know it was being held at all. No one said anything about it. The aid was put on hold on the 25th, and no one in the Ukraine knew it was on hold. So President Trump had the whole conversation, and it was never held. I mean, as far as they're concerned, they didn't even know. So it just disproves everything they're saying. But
I think also it was being held, but it was actually released also at a certain point, which also made it not even part of the story. It's not real. It's only because they have to make up stuff because he released the transcript. They had their script written before when they started this whole thing. They knew what they were going to say. But since that was all blown out of the water, they keep saying the same stuff, and it doesn't make any sense, right? Because it wasn't supposed to. All this information was not supposed to be out. So since it doesn't make any sense, people don't know. They don't know what to do, right? Their own story doesn't hold water, but they can't go back on it, right? Because this is the only thing they have. What are they going to do? Let him get elected again? No, they have to say something to get people riled up, enough to say, oh, it must be something there.
I picture Schiff like his real personality is like a very flamboyant director, right? And very effeminate, flamboyant director. And, when they're in these meetings, he's talking to everyone, and he's talking about the trials and tribulations, not of being a congressman or anything like that, but of being an actor. And he's like, the show must go on. It must go on no matter what.
Just read your script. Don't worry about it. Oh, but the Republicans keep asking questions. Well, don't let them ask questions.
Change the rules. We have absolute power. Because at the end of the day, he's not a congressman that represents the people. He's an actor who plays a congressman on TV, right?
Yeah.
Like, joke.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, he's not a congressman. He plays one on TV, and that's right. Yeah. That's it. He's always on the air. He's always trying to get in front of a camera.
I mean, he's got a perpetual look. Like, he is in character nonstop.
Right.
But I just feel like, it's not really who you are, is it? You're just an actor playing a part.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tragic play, this tragic comedy, which is our government right now. It's a nightmare. And it really gives a great opportunity to define and allow real leaders to stand out. I mean, because I never even knew who Matt Gaetz was. Now, I mean, like, I love watching that. I watched Matt Gaetz over a movie. I mean,
right.
Jim Jordan. I mean, I love watching them just say things that seem so impressive by comparison to the idiotic things that are being, vomited out of it. They're like verbal bulimics. I mean, anything that they get, they just vomit it out on everyone. It doesn't make sense. There's no context to it. The nutrients never hit anyone. They just throw it out there to create doubt and fear.
Right.
And I don't think it would even. And I mean, I'm very serious about this VMAT too. I really, obviously we don't have a governing body that would actually contest this. But if that existed, which it should, there should be something to state, we think the vaccines are contaminated. First of all, with aluminum and leukemia, but also we think that there's a biological weapon being used on the people. And the biological weapon is causing them to completely change the way that they act, behave, their desires, because the things that are just basic logic, President Trump does nothing but win. Americans love a winner. We love that. Even if you beat us, I mean, people who hate, like, the Patriots, right? Even though they beat you, you just respect their game.
Right.
It's like with President Trump. You might hate President Trump, but you got to respect his game because he can whoop it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. That's why I like with the cabal and the banking issue and the financial stuff. I said, listen, you guys, you won the game of Monopoly. I mean, you created the game of Monopoly. You got everyone to play, and you won. You were the banker. And everyone knows if you play Monopoly, the bankers are the ones that always win because their fingers are in the till.
Right. Exactly. It's like, you're always giving them back, not the full amount, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I said, oh, and he pocket a little. You went around the. Here's 200 for you, pass and go, and 200 for me.
Monopoly is the most boring game in the world. Yeah.
But I said, okay, you won. Time for a new game, right? So I respect their
Yeah.
game. I mean, they won. Hey, I get it. That they built a system, thinking about this from 100 years ago. We had a different level of maturity in the world. People was all about, but I think there's enough of Christianity and the concepts of helping everyone, and Buddhism, and all the things that are making people want to better themselves and help others. And I think that we've matured. I mean, it may not it may not seem like that everywhere, but I'm pretty sure that we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. And something else came out today too that I was just looking at a minute ago. There is. Oh, you know what? I want to share this because now I thought this was noteworthy. I'm going to share it here. I'm share my screen because potentially this is something that we would be looking to use as well, right? So JP Morgan Chase opens e-wallet, so tech firms can open virtual bank accounts, right? So that would basically mean that you would more or less bypass the bank. I mean, I guess you'd still be putting money in the bank, but people would be able to manage their own wallet, right? And as we've discussed, this is kind of the system that we've been talking to Kim about, that if you have a wallet system, you can have as much money as you want in your wallet. Now, we also have heard that JP Morgan Chase and the Federal Reserve are working with Kim. Now, I haven't got an update on the report, but I did ask Kim. I'm hoping that this is something she's involved with. That would be pretty exciting.
Yep. Yeah, I think. I know that. I've got word that there's a lot of funds moving between the U.S. Treasury and JP Morgan, so that may mean that there is. I don't know what that means. It's cutting out the Fed of the picture, but does that mean that we're going to get closer to something happening now? I don't know, but I would say I still think that we have to see some major upset in the political side for the Democrats, right? I think that they have to look like they're really running for the hills before that the people that are standing in the way within the banks, that they start saying, you know what, everyone around us is like abandoning their post, and we have to do something. We're going to be caught up in this, and that might be sooner than later.
You know what? I don't. One thing Kim has said to me. I mean, I have asked her this question many, many times. She has almost unilaterally given me the same response. I'll say, "Are we waiting on so and so? Or are we waiting on this or that event or this?" And almost always, a couple times there was things, but almost always Kim's response is, "We are not waiting on anyone." Right? There's just work. It's just work. We have to get it done, and a lot of that work is. I mean, all of that work really is falling on Kim's back. Like we do what we can in the field to support her energetically, and do as much as I can to make noise and bring contacts to her, and anybody that I feel like can help the cause. That and I'm always I try not to be honest. I try not to annoy Kim because she spends so much time programming, right? But I'm just the kind of person that I'm out doing, right? So we're always doing stuff and we're always moving things. So in my personal opinion, that's the reason why we do all of this, because I think that the way to change the world, I know the money has to change. I can't control the money, but you know what I can help do is I can help organize people around fighting or trying to reestablish the republic. I can do organize groups and make sure that we have all the structures in place so that when it's time for the money to come in, all the other pieces that need to happen at the same time are already in place. So, but she's unilaterally said, like, it doesn't matter. Now, the reason why, if you had a wallet system, right? Now, if you have a wallet system, then everybody has money in their wallet and it can come direct, right? And if we had projects that were coming directly from the trust and we had everybody set up their own wallet system, now that's their money in their pocket. There's no way to stop that. And it would be so widespread, there wouldn't be anything they could do to stop it. It wouldn't matter. It would bypass the bank in reality altogether. Chase would really just be a front because the real bank would be the trust. So,
yep.
That's my opinion on that. But I do understand what you're saying. All they would really have to do to end this whole thing is just to pay Kim back her administrative fee, right? And then they've acknowledged her as a sovereign as what gave them the money. This whole thing's over. I mean, a year and a half ago this would have been over. I remember when we transferred money, and all they had to do was just give that back to her when she liquidated, Wells Fargo. But alas, but I will say this, right? So with the National Liberty Alliance, I signed up to be an administrator, right? Well, I've been trying to reach out to these groups, and come to find out, there's a group that is actually labeled as the Republic, right? And this is not the corrupt group with, the SES, right? Like this is not a corporation. This is a natural law organization, constitutional law organization, actually trying to reinstate the Republic. They actually have a central bank that they've established, and they actually have a currency called the Replic that they're trying to establish. Now, this group, I don't know, they're very legit. I guess the guy is John Wright who set the whole thing up. But I got appointed today as the national states or the state nation sheriff of New York, or of the Republic of New York. So I'm gonna start being known as Sheriff Tank. That's it. I'm supposed to go. I have to go get a gun and everything. I have to get a gun. Hopefully, get a badge.
Are you allowed to have one in New York then?
I mean, what are they going to say? I'm the law after that, right?
Yeah.
I'll just tell them. I'll say, hey, back up, man. I'm the law.
Yeah, don't fight the law. Because the law won't
I'll get some
win.
snappy, yeah. I'm going to get some snappy IDs made up, so I can flash it up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, look, I'm not trying to make light of it. I am trying to. I do take these things seriously, but when I was talking to them, in the half hour I talked to them, I'm like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Right? Because if we could just bring these groups together, there's another one called RUSS, right? ROUSS, the Republic of the United States.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, well, that's doomed to fail in a sense, right? Because it's kind of like you missed the point right from the beginning.
I was just looking at our chat room, so I got a little distracted because they said Trump is Q. And,
No, he's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know why they're saying that, but anyway. And then they also said that they want to beam us up. I don't know where they're beaming us to.
The trolls, that's why.
No, that's Robert Allen.
Robert Allen! Come on, Robert. You're on my team, He was...
KAG is Kim.
System.
KAG. What is KAG? I don't know what KAG is.
Keep America Great or Kimberly Ann Gogan.
Ah. Okay, all right. I'll put one up there for you guys. There you go.
I'm just saying, sounds like
Keep America Great. Okay. Well, I was thinking about Kim Clement's. That's interesting. His name is Kim too, but Kim Clement's prophecy, right? When he's basically saying there's a woman that comes. In my exposure to Kim Clement was, from maybe like 5 years ago, something like that, maybe even 6 years ago. And so, I heard them. And I think about it, I actually think that I may have come close to meeting him at one point, way back when I was hanging out with Pastor Jonas Robertson of the Church of Abundant Life. I think we were in California at one point, and there was a meeting that was to happen, and I think that I wasn't able to get there in time. But I knew of him, and then this stuff that was happening before Trump was elected, and he had said that Trump was going to be president, and so I was all keyed into that, right? And I was thinking that makes sense to me. It rings true when I was hearing it. So, and then he got elected, and Trey Smith is the one that was really working towards bringing out that information in his videos, and I just think that there is something. It sounds right that that's it. He's talking about Kimberly Ann Gogan for the woman that is coming. So it's interesting. Yeah, keep America great, Kimberly Ann Gogan. How do you guys slip that in?
He had three. He prophesied 3 things really in that, right? He talked about this woman who is obviously, it's very clear to anybody who follows Kim that it was Kim. He talks about President Trump becoming Trump. He talks about this woman. He refers to Ruth in the scriptures, right? But he's talking about a woman who comes to power and everyone loves her, right? And she is the one that has the ability to, unleash abundance on the world, right? And then the last thing he talks about is a new party will rise. Is what he says.
That's what I've been talking about. I was saying it's the American Party, right? The elimination of the Democrats and Republicans, and let it rise up. And I think Tulsi, coming in and becoming vice president would work. Even if she got into the cabinet, that's fine too. But I think as vice president, it really sends a message to say, listen, this is not about Democrats and Republicans. This is about an evil that's in the world. It's pervasive. It's grown like a tumor around the world, and we have to remove it.
Agreed.
Yeah. A new party sounds about right. The American Party. It could be something else. I mean, the Abundance Party. The name doesn't matter for me at the moment, but I think that the necessity of is there. Because both sides are basically the division, right? It's the divide and conquer.
Right.
So I think we got to get rid of both sides.
It'll be the Republicans.
Yeah,
Perfect.
The demon rats.
Demon rats. If that is the case, then we are on the wrong timeline. So we got to jump.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was something that they put out there through American intelligence media. They call them demon rats.
I know. It's so funny. I used to read the articles from like alternative blogs, like the Super Patriots, and like they would lose me because they would use so many adjectives to describe someone. It'd be like, truck stop hooker, pedophile, cage dweller, Khazarian mafia dwelling, preacher, wicked priestess, Hillary Clinton. All these things. I'd be like, you lost me like 4 of those in. I'm like, wow, that's a bit much. I mean, I feel like you're showing your bias a little bit. Right? It's hard to trust you after that.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
It's a point where you almost can't help but just be like, geez, how are these people real?
Yeah. Right now, you just sum it up and say Hillary.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's why they come up with these terms later, right? It's based on people's names. That's why like Schiff is going to be forever associated with lying to the bitter end. Like, why are you trying to shift me? Like, we all saw it happen, man. like we all watched it. Why are you still trying to shift me? So,
yeah, why are you trying to shift us? Yeah, don't shift us.
Yeah, man.
Don't be shifting
me. We don't fall for that shift.
I like when she said when the shift hits the fan.
Yes, Sherry Edwards is fun, man. She's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be around when the shift hits the fan.
When the shit hits the fan.
Afterwards, okay. Yeah.
Oh, good time.
Needs to be cleaned up. All right. So, anything else? What else is are we done for today?
No, that's all I got, man. Nothing else that's of any. Oh, you know what? The one thing I forgot to mention: the lawyer for who represents the whistleblower was actually caught for talking about, and the coup begins back in 2017. I guess they actually got it on record.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty important. Maybe that happened yesterday. I just saw it today. I was like, wow, it's pretty damning.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot there, that's going to be coming out. I mean, Glenn Beck has done some really good, investigative information and laid it out and say, listen, it's a coup. This is not anything other than a coup, and it's ongoing, and that's the thing. It's a slow-moving coup. It's a paper coup. He also said it's a paper coup. Right? And someone else termed it, it's an American coup. It's so American, this coup.
Do you think that at one point, journals or newspapers like The Onion were really serious, like people took them seriously?
Of course they're serious. You didn't know that?
What's that?
Of course they're serious. You didn't know that? They're 100% true. No.
My friend was married. My friend was married to the daughter of the original owner of the Inquirer, and the Inquirer was always considered a joke, right?
Right.
And the father said, actually, we're about 95% accurate and truthful. It's just that we report on everything, and people aren't used to that. He was saying we're much more truthful than the other rags that are out there. I thought that was very interesting. Because I think that's what's going to happen to 80s, all these different news outlets, right? They're just going to be referred to as a joke very soon. As soon as we give people an option.
There's a couple out there looking I didn't know that RT News, that thing. Yeah, I started watching it. Sometimes I scratch my head after I'm watching them. I said, they're really taking that position? I realized later it's a Russian channel. I didn't know that the R stood for Russian. And now there's another one I've been watching, a couple of things that they look pretty good. There's Epoch Times, the Epoch News, Epoch Reports. And then there's also Rise. Rise seems to be a good one. They look very professional, but they're really catching these people off guard because they're so professional. They're asking the hard questions, and then they dig in and they try and squirm. The more they squirm, the more they try to get more information out of them. So that's been refreshing. So I think we're going to see the elimination of these other groups. The traditional news media is going to. We're just going to end up calling it the cabal news media because we know that it's not real.
Yep. I know. That's so. All that has to go down, and it has to be absolute though, because if it's not absolute, they rise back up, man. They're like weeds.
Yeah.
Like weeds.
Yeah, that's true. It has to be something that is complete, and that's the reason for the slow roll on this IG report, on the declassification. It's a slow roll, and I can't say if it's going to happen this week or next month or in 6 months or after the next election. I don't want to think it's going to take that long, right? But because I don't want these things to keep going on. I want to drain the swamp, and I want it drained now. But if it does take another 6 months, okay, fine. Let's keep getting prepared. Let's take the things we need to do. Stand up, make a noise wherever you're at, and let them know. If everyone is making a noise about this, you're then part of the group, right? It's that pack mentality. Then everyone can see everyone around them is in agreement. That's the reason for segregation, stopping people from living out in the outlying areas, burning everyone out, getting them out of the hills. They want to bring them into that so they can, keep everyone under one mental influence, right? And move everyone into that in their spheres of influence. So we gotta stand up and make ourselves known. We gotta keep doing it. Make your own videos. Get your own people to talk on the broadcast. Just even the little tiny pockets all over the place, all together, we're saying the same things. Word of mouth. We just gotta keep speaking it.
Wow. Well, guess we'll see what happens next. I'm anxiously anticipating watching things unfold publicly right now, and I think good signs are everywhere.
Yeah.
So, anyways, man, that's all I got. And you have a great night.
All right. Good night. And
Everybody.
Everyone, good love and blessings from the Philippines. I was just thinking about 2
Peace out, New York. Have a good night. Yeah,
right,
bye.
good night.